I would have had a six pack sooner if I ate like this. In this video, I'm going to go over exactly what I ate in order to go from being 195 pounds overweight, out of shape, with a blocky physique, all the way down to 10% body fat to 157 pounds, losing over 37 pounds of body weight in total, reaching 10% body fat, being shredded to the bone with a visible six pack. Okay. And you're also going to learn what you need to eat as well in order for you to transform your body from going from looking like this to looking like this with a six pack. Okay. My name is Noé. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Nas Effect. I am a transformation coach. I specialize in helping men transform their bodies from being overweight to getting aesthetic physiques. How and what I ate to attain a shredded aesthetic physique. Okay, so with my proven method that I'm going to explain to you in this video, you will be able to get shredded with a fully defined six pack. We are going to cover the nutrition piece of my method. The best part is that you do not need to be an amazing chef in order to follow this diet. Okay, the meals are very simple. I am not a great chef, a great cook, and I didn't even feel like I was on a diet, right? I was eating pretty good. So you want to be able to think macros and not calories. Okay, you always hear people talk about online that you gotta track your calories, right? Make sure you're not overspending your calories, but that's only the surface. You're just scratching the surface. You want to go deeper than that, which is macros, of course. So, what are macros? How to count macros? What kind of foods you should eat to get shredded? This is what we're gonna go over. Big mistakes holding you back. Okay, some of the common mistakes that I hear a lot, especially from my clients in the past, is fasting. Right, they're doing unrealistic fast or like long hour fast. You do not need to fast in order to get shredded. Okay, you don't need to do that. Eating carbs at night is bad. Eating carbs at night is not bad. It does not matter what time of the day that you eat. It's just simple math, right? Calories in, nutrition, and calories out, which is your activity level, right? It's not rocket science. We look at a caloric deficit on a week-to-week basis, not day-to-day. So it doesn't matter what time of the day that you eat. If you still have one meal left during the day and it's already 11 p.m. at night, you can still eat and you'll be fine. It's not going to stall your progress. Consuming sugar, okay? It wasn't until I cut out sugar, processed sugar at that, in which I was finally able to get to the state of burning the stubborn body fat and get super lean. Okay, so natural sugars from fruits you can do, right? That's highly encouraged, but no processed sugars whatsoever. Doing the wrong types of cardio and a lot of it, right? Running, jump roping, and any hit high intensity interval training, cardio is not what you should do. You shouldn't do any form of hit cardio, any high intense cardio. You should only be doing LISS cardio, right? Low intensity steady state. You do not need to be doing endless amounts of cardio as well. Okay, so in order, if your goal is to go from looking like this, like how I was looking right here, to looking like this with a V taper and having your six pack, right, and having your chest pop out with your serratus and everything, being shredded, you do not need to be doing high intensity interval training of cardio. Okay. Following fitness influencer diets just because it's trendy, right? You're gonna see a bunch of fitness influencers online eating Chipotle. They'll have their coupon codes for this, for their protein bars, Rice Krispies, Panda Express, eating out, right? Fast food meals. You're gonna see them eating that, and they still have a six pack. But that's because they're already at that state. But if you look like this, right? If you're overweight, if you're ashamed of going to the beach and taking off your shirt like how I was here, you should not be eating out. You should not be eating Chipotle of at all. Panda Express, none of that. Freaking Salad and Go, freaking Chick-fil-A. Do not be eating out, bro. Okay, don't be. But it's just annoying how like there's a bunch of fitness influencers and posts online on Instagram and on TikTok where they're telling you could eat this. It has 6 grams of protein, and it's like, bro, for your goal, which is in order to lose body fat, a substantial amount, you cannot afford to be eating out. You only want to eat home cooked meals. More ab exercises equals more visible abs, right? This is false. You do not need to do ab exercises if your abs are still not close to being visible. Believe it or not, between these two photos, I did zero ab work. Okay. Why? Because doing abs is a waste of time. It does not matter how many ab exercises I do. My abs will never show if I still have the layer of fat over my stomach. So we have to focus on removing that. We have to do the dirty work, which is, of course, following the right nutrition plan that I'm going to go over today. So let's continue. Right macros and how to count them. First, get rid of going based off calories, right? It's not just calories. We know that in order to lose weight, we need to be in a caloric deficit, right? We know that already. But that's not the only thing that matters. What matters more are the macronutrients that make up the calories. So calories are made up of three macronutrients. You have your protein, your carbs, and your lipids. Okay, these three are measured in grams. So that's the units. So if you look at the nutrition facts of any nutrition label, you're going to see the fats. So for example, here there's 8 grams of fat in this serving size, right? 2/3 of a cup or 55 grams of whatever this food item is. There's 8 grams of fat and 55 grams of this. There's also 37 grams of carbs in 55 grams of this. And there's also, 3 grams of protein. Okay. That's per serving, right? And you can see here there's 8 servings in this container. Now, in order to convert this into calories, you have to do the following conversions. You have to multiply for fats, you have to multiply each gram by 9, and you get the number of calories. So here's 72. For carbs and proteins, you have to multiply each gram by 4. So for example, 37 grams times 4 is 148 calories. 3 grams times 4 is 12 calories. Okay, so you add these up, it'll equal 230 calories for the serving size. Easy enough. Okay, very important to understand that. So again, here's the conversions. 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. 1 grams of carbs is 4 calories. 1 grams of fat equals 9 calories. Easy. How to find a caloric deficit number. So here's what you're going to want to do, right? You're going to want to multiply your body weight by 11. So for example, if you weigh 230 pounds as of now, as of you watching this video, you're going to want to multiply your body weight by 11. You're going to get 2,530 calories. This is going to be a caloric deficit intake. If you eat this daily for a week, okay, so eat 2,530 calories every single day for 1 week. And if you are dropping weight, do not change nothing, right? Because you're clearly moving in the right track. If you eat this daily for a week and you are not dropping weight, you're going to want to decrease this number by 200 calories, right? So for week 2, eat 2,350 calories per day. Repeat this until your weight is dropping a minimum of 1 pound per week. You can do it 1 pound and 2 pounds per week, right? If you're super overweight, you can do 2 pounds, 3 pounds. This is how you know for sure you are in a caloric deficit, right? When you're losing weight, a caloric deficit meaning that you are burning or you're consuming less calories than what your body burns in a given day. A lot of men make the mistake of assuming that they are in a deficit when they really aren't because they fail to track themselves. They fail to weigh themselves every single week. You need to weigh yourself once a week to determine if you are in a deficit. Also, I encourage you to take physique photos so you can see your physique changing in real time. Okay, sometimes your weight day by day will fluctuate. So like it'll go down or go up depending on if you get bad sleep or you don't drink enough water. But if you look at your physique photos, you will see your physique change. Okay, every single week. There should be a difference in your arms, in your midsection, in your legs, somewhere in your body. So now that you know how to find your calorie deficit starting number, excuse me, you're going to want to understand that calories are made up of macros. If your maintenance calories are 2,000 calories, for example, the amount you need to eat to maintain so if your maintenance calories are 2,000 calories, which is the amount that you need to eat to maintain your body weight, right? So to not lose weight, and then you eat 1,800 calories per day, then you will start losing weight since you are at a 200 daily caloric deficit. But it's important to have a good macro distribution within those 1,800 calories to have that aesthetic body composition, right? Low body fat and high muscle mass. So your body composition, all it is just adjusted maintenance calories, right? In order for you to increase your muscle gain or your muscle mass and then decrease your body fat mass, right? So to go from this to this. These two people can be exactly the same weight, but the body composition changed, right? The muscle mass went up, fat loss went down. For example, let's say person A and person B both are in a deficit eating 1,800 calories per day. Person A is only tracking calories and person B is tracking macros with a macro distribution of 40% carbs, 40% protein, 20% fats, right? So remember how I told you the 1,800 calories limit for a day. If person B is tracking their macros and they set up their macros being 40% of this number will be carbs, 40% will be protein, 20% will be fats, but the other person is just tracking calories, so they didn't do this, right? Person A just did not distribute their macros, and they're just eating calories, right? So they could be eating maybe 60% of their fats and then freaking 20% of protein and then 20% of carbs, but they don't know that, right? Because they're not tracking. Who will have the more aesthetic physique, person A or person B? You probably guessed it, right? Person B will have the more aesthetic physique. Person A will still lose weight because they're in a caloric deficit, but he might be spilling over on his fats, for example, or he might not be hitting his protein intake, which will cause him to lose muscle mass. So that'll result in his body fat to still be higher than intended. The macro distribution you will want to follow is the 40-40-20 rule. Okay, 40% carbs, 40% protein, 20% fats. So for 1,800 calories, 720 calories will be carbs, 720 calories will be protein, and 360 calories will be fats. Okay, so here it is again. Now we convert that into grams to find the macros. That will equal 180 grams of carbs, 180 grams of protein, 40 grams of fats. So now you have your macros. So now it's time to count, aka track macros. So how do you track your macros? You're gonna want to get a macro tracking app, like MyFitnessPal, for example. Okay, this app will be your best friend. This is a very popular uh, macro tracking app. Okay, there's a free version, so you don't have to pay, right, in order to track your macros. You're gonna want to create an account, enter in your caloric deficit number, and do the 40-40-20 macro distribution. So there's settings in there. You can set it up to be 40% for carbs and protein, and 20% for your fats. It'll give you your macros. Okay, the default meal plan page will only have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack. You can add more meals if you want to do 5 meals, 6 meals, and you can rename the meals too. When searching in the database for the app, for example, in this one, for foods, be sure to search them up cooked or raw because it does make a difference in the macros, right? So whether you're weighing your food cooked, you're going to want to search it cooked. If you're weighing your food raw, you're going to want to search it raw. So what kind of foods should you eat? Let's go over that now. The meals sound boring, but they're really not. Okay, pick foods that you enjoy to eat, of course. If you don't like chicken, then obviously do not eat chicken in your meal plan, right? Pick foods that you enjoy to eat. Don't say that you only enjoy to eat snacks and processed foods and that you do not like eating whole foods, okay? Only my 6-year-old niece prefers to eat processed junk food over real food. Okay, she prefers McDonald's over actual chicken and rice. Okay, but you're not a little girl. So pick single ingredient foods, whole foods that you can cook at the house. That's the key. Again, pick single ingredient whole foods. These will better satiate you. For example, some protein sources that you can pick are eggs, egg whites, chicken, steak, ground turkey, ground beef, salmon, tilapia, tuna, shrimp, zero sugar Greek yogurt, right? Non-fat Greek yogurt, or protein powder. Some example of carb sources are rice, potatoes, sweet potatoes, fruits, oatmeal. Potatoes and sweet potatoes are the ultimate carb source for cutting, by the way. These have less calories for more volume. I recommend to save the potatoes for at the end of your cut once you drop enough calories and you're getting super hungry. you're gonna mainly want to stick to potatoes. If you stick to rice or other carb sources, they won't satiate you as much as potatoes will, right? That's why you see a lot of people eat potatoes because they're the goat when it comes to keeping you full and eating a low amount of carbs. Some fat sources, right? What kind of fats can you eat in your diet? Peanut butter or almond butter, great fat sources, right? Make sure they're natural though. None of that processed stuff where they have a bunch of ingredients. Make sure the only ingredients are peanuts or almond butter in whichever one you choose. Avocado, great fat sources. Almonds or your nuts, walnuts, any other nuts, nut forms. Olive oils too, right? Make sure you're actually weighing that. A lot of people fail and make this mistake to not track their olive oil. If you're gonna do olive oil, track it because there's a lot of fat in olive oil. So some other alternatives you can do with cooking will be like your avocado oil, right? Avocado oil spray just a little bit will have 0 calories, or your non-stick cooking sprays, right? Your PAM sprays. Freebies. I like to call these freebies, but they're just vegetables, right? Broccoli, jalapenos, green beans, pickles, bell peppers, any low calorie vegetables. Portion these in your meals to keep you full longer, right? This is how you become sustainable. You don't have to do vegetables, but if you do become constipated, right, you're having trouble pooping, because that can happen, right, where you can stall with your body weight, but and that's why I recommend to take photos because if you don't take photos of yourself of your physique, you won't know if you're actually moving in the right direction. Your body weight can say that you stalled, but you might not be pooping as much anymore, right? You might not be having as much bowel movements as you were beforehand. So to combat this, make sure you have a lot of fiber in your meal plan, and you do so by adding vegetables, right? Green vegetables. So some key tips: eliminate sugar completely from your diet. You don't want to eat no processed sugar, right? Only natural sugars from your fruits. I should have included fruits here, but you can do fruits. Those are great carb sources. Or actually, I did include fruits here. Yeah, great carb sources. Okay, and it has processed sugar, so it'll help you with cravings from when you're craving sugar. Use stevia, right? 0 calorie sweeteners. You can use that for your black coffees. That way you're not using any sugar alternatives, right? And also in your oatmeal, in your plain Greek yogurt, right? Plain Greek yogurt, as you know, is nasty as heck. So add in a packet or two of stevia. It'll just give it a good tasting flavor. That way you can enjoy your yogurt. And of course with fruits, right? So no sugar. Use 0 sugar condiments and sauces, right? You got your barbecue sauce, 0 sugar. Ketchup, there's also 0 sugar ketchup. Use that in your meals. Also, use low calorie spices and seasonings, right? To season up your food, season up your chicken. It's gonna make it taste delicious. For your chicken, right? Chicken breast, as you know, is like a classic bodybuilding type of meal. A lot of people don't like chicken. I actually did diet for a long time without chicken because I got tired of eating it. So I did, for example, ground beef in my meal plan because I love ground beef. Ground beef with rice and some sauce, some salsa is chef's kiss. But for chicken, if you do want to do chicken, I highly recommend that you do a coat with mustard. Coat it with mustard before you cook it, season it, and then cook it, and it's gonna come out tasting delicious. Like it's not gonna come out as dry. Put it in the air fryer, right? You can grill it on the skillet, and it'll be amazing, bro. Trust me. It sounds weird, but do it with your mustard. Okay, so that's pretty much the video. Um, Short video, but you can definitely get abs if you eat this way, right? So make sure you're tracking your macros on the app, and you'll be on your way to getting shredded down to the bone. If you want some help, right, you're moving in the right direction for sure, guaranteed. If you want to lose 50% body fat or more in 180 days or less, while packing on lean muscle and getting the aesthetic shredded physique, go ahead and apply to work with me. I'll apply the link in the description down below. Feel free to check me out on Instagram, nas.effect on Instagram. If you have any questions on this presentation, on this video, go ahead and comment down below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you on the next video. Thank you.